Hi, everyone. Welcome to John's Briefs with defense attorney, my favorite attorney, Tim Forshee of Forshee Law. You certainly should be getting your NFA trust from him for sure. And if you're here in Arizona, this is my guy for criminal defense and for family law.
Thanks, buddy.
Has helped my family in many ways. And listen, we had a case on the channel, on the big channel here not too long ago, of a poor convenience store clerk who just is doing her job, and dude just stabs the heck out of her a whole bunch of times. And this dude had just gotten out and been released early from prison. Yeah. And I want to talk to my attorney friend about how do we stop this from happening, and how do we hold accountable people who are doing this and putting the public at risk?
Firearms Legal Protection is who I trust to help me after a use of force incident. If you're a Firearms Legal Protection member, I will also be on your team as a consulting expert, and you can attend our monthly active self-protection training seminars for free. Check out all they offer to their members at the link below.
That's my big worry, Tim, is that, you know, listen, I get it. Okay, so we want to have, you know, we want to kind of decrease the prison industrial complex and have fewer people in jail. I'm all for that. I'm libertarian, right? Like, you know, victimless crimes, nonviolent people.
A lot of drug crimes, right? Why are they in jail? I get it,
But dudes like this, violent criminals, like this guy had been out of prison for like a week or something, and released early and instantly reoffends because he goes right back out on drugs and, you know, gets coked out of his mind or whatever, methed up, and stabs this poor woman. But of course, some parole board, some judge says, okay, back into the community with you. How do we prevent that?
Well, if there was an easy answer, we'd both be doing it right now, right? Yeah. So, I mean, again, I'm starting to sound like an old fat white guy. Well, guess what? I am an old fat white guy. But where are we going to? I mean, what's going on? People get, I mean, when we have video of a security guard holding a Walgreens door open and allowing a guy to shoplift an entire bag full of shoplifted items, and the police will not be called and there'll be no repercussions from that. When we're saying that that's okay, it's like that whole thing that you gotta patrol the area when you see a broken window. You gotta fix that, because if you don't, then that means that crime's okay here and we can do whatever the heck we want to, and suddenly it's out of control. That's what's happening. We're just saying that there's no consequence for these types of things. And, you know, even violent offenders, well, he wasn't treated properly by the system, and he wasn't raised right, and he's had not the same opportunities that you and I have had, so we've got to be, you know, it's a separate system of justice for those kind of folks. And no, it's not. They're violent. It's like, I don't have any ill will towards the dog that's killing all the chickens in the hen house, but this dog has lost his right to play, right? Yeah. This dog needs to be put down. And I'm not advocating the death penalty, but there are certain people that should be in jail and the lock should never be opened. Done. And I'm sorry, and I'm not saying that for everybody.
No.
But I'm saying that for certain people, they just are violent, they prey upon people, and it's got to stop. So to answer your question, how do we make that happen? Oh my God, I don't know. I guess it starts with the polling place. These soft on crime prosecutors that we're seeing pop up in the last 10 years around the country, especially in the wake of the COVID riots and stuff, they've got to be voted out of office. And I think we're starting to see that. We're seeing, I think the Philadelphia prosecutor that was very anti-cop and pro-criminal has been voted out. San Francisco, I think they lost theirs, same reason. I think the pendulum might be swinging back on some of this, and I think people are realizing, hey, that could be my grandma that got stabbed working in that convenience store, and what in the hell is this guy doing out? So part of it's got to start at the polling place. And then I think, you know, I'm a lawyer, so I'm part of the problem, but hopefully I can be part of the remedy as well. Maybe file lawsuits, you know. Yeah. There is an 11th Amendment, and there are certain things that you can't pierce, but, you know, all it takes is the right judge or the right appeals board, and suddenly maybe something will get some traction, and suddenly there will be consequences for these decisions. You know, you did breach protocol, you did breach just, reasonable decision making, and you put this demon back out into society, and remarkably, he killed somebody 5 days later. What the hell were you doing?
Right.
What the hell? And even if the lawsuit doesn't gain traction and it is dismissed because of the 11th Amendment, no judge wants to be sued. No judge wants the public scrutiny of that. They don't want the media attention of that. They don't want the reputation. We got to hold these folks accountable. We just do. They can't hide in their ivory towers. It's just scary what things are coming to right now.
I really agree. I mean, here in Arizona, I don't know where it is where you are, but here at least we have as part of our ballots, you know, should these judges be retained?
Yeah, I think we've had one judge since I've lived in Arizona for 35 years that was actually voted out.
Well, and I actually look like, you know, there's judicial review. We have websites.
People call me all the time, which judges should I vote out? and I'll give them a short list of the guys that I think don't deserve robes, but they never get voted out.
Yeah, they never get voted out.
But at least we have that option. At least we have the ability to do it. It did happen once where the judge was. This is way back when marijuana was not what it is now, and he was arrested for smoking marijuana, and he was voted out of office. This was not long after I came to the Valley. So it does happen, but very rare. Yeah, of all the reasons, right? I mean,
we had this last one. I forget who the judge was, but like most judges have like a, because they send out in Arizona, they send out a for every litigant and for every attorney, they get to fill out a form. Did they apply the law correctly? Were they good? Evaluation. And most judges really, really good. And then one judge was like 2 standard deviations down, and I'm like, that judge is a problem.
There you go.
That one needs to go. Yep. And of course, they didn't get voted out. They didn't get voted out. Because most people are like, yay.
Or most people just don't vote.
Yeah, or they just leave it alone.
Right.
So I think, that 11th Amendment immunity is really problematic, and I think what I want you to hear here is well, what should we do? The prosecutors, I think we can get to pretty directly with elections.
Right.
And if this is the kind of crime you're going to allow in my community, I'm going to vote you out.
Right.
And I'm not going to put up with you. On the judge side, I think the immunity is going to be...
Well, and don't forget, really, where judges can run afoul of this is if they release somebody with no bond and they put them back out there, right? If the Department of Corrections, which is separate from the judicial branch, if the Department of Corrections does an early release on somebody, the judge doesn't really have any control over that. So that's probably not the judge. That's the state parole board. It's the governor's office. It's, that's not necessarily the judge. Where I'm frustrated is we're seeing, like, Illinois just eliminated cash bond.
Yeah.
So... Sorry, there's no such thing as somebody who's posing a risk to society or who's a flight risk. We're going to go ahead and let you go.
And that's clear. That to me is mind-boggling and stupid.
It's mind-boggling and stupid, and the criminals are the ones that take advantage of that.
Now, I do think, I actually buy the idea that says, wait a minute, but the poor are inadvertently affected by this, and so we need to think about that.
So let's come up with a formula that it's based upon your income or something like that. I hate standard bonds. But I also think that saying that there's no such thing as bonds because it's unfair to people that don't have the financial means, that's a lot of times that's why they're crooks. That's why they're violent.
And so if instead we say, hey, wait a minute, no, there is a bond. It is, proportionate or something or some system of that so that it's not an undue hardship because of economics. Mm-hmm. Because of course the 8th Amendment, no unreasonable bonds should be issued. But again, when somebody has a violent risk. Yeah. That's a different story.
That's right. That's why some offenses at least used to be non-bondable.
Right.
Because there was a statutory decision made that if somebody's accused of this, we can't run the risk of them going back home. There's too much danger that poses. We've lost that in a lot of states. So it just befuddles me, but it's the case.
And you're only gonna change that at the polls, friends.
And everybody's, wow, what difference did I make? No judge has ever been voted out. Every flood is composed of raindrops, guys. I mean, if you care about this stuff, and especially with the advent of social media in the last 10 years, I mean, if you can get enough other raindrops that'll make a flood, floods can do a lot of damage. Floods can make a lot of changes. So.
And again, I think at the polls for sure. So I am a voter. I vote every election.
And people, the only election people ever talk about is the President of the United States.
So probably the least important one of all.
It's the least important one of all. They have no effect on your life whatsoever. They just simply don't. The county attorney that you live in, probably the most important person that you vote for. And a lot of people don't even know who it is. And you've got to do a little bit of research. You've got to care about the people that affect your life, and you've got to have some say-so in that.
Yeah. And so that's where I think it does. I think also, talking to your prosecutor's office. I think absolutely. Their email, they actually have to answer that stuff. And saying, I know, like in Arizona, our state legislators, they answer their own emails a lot of the times. And I email them. I email my legislators all the time. Hey, man, could you give me some feedback on this? And don't be a jerk. Don't be that guy. Sure. Like, you suck, and I'm going to come over and punch you in the face, because then the cops will visit. But like, hey, I'm frustrated about this. And they go, man, I'm frustrated about it too. And we're going to have a hearing on that, and you should participate in it. Cool, now you get involved in the process.
Yeah, throwing tomatoes and holding signs don't get things done. Going to public forums and sticking around later and being polite and shaking hands, even with people you don't agree with, and having dialogue, polite, respectful, professional dialogue, that's how we get this stuff changed.
And I really think your state and local legislators, your prosecutor's office, those kind of things, even a politely worded but firm email about, hey, I'd like some answers on this. What's going on?
Like 4 sentences. Yeah. Don't send them a doctrine, right? I mean, just make it short and sweet.
This seems frustrating to me. Can you explain this to me? Hey, cool. Or can I make an appointment to have this explained to me or something like that? Or can you just send me that stuff back? Hey, that's the kind of way that it'll get done. I think it's a travesty. In the short term, the only way to prevent this kind of thing from happening is to be a self-defender. Nobody's going to save you.
That's right.
But I think getting involved in the system is a big problem.
And can we just you already did, but can we give a shout out to that young lady? I sure hope she's okay.
Yeah.
But what a warrior. I mean, we could criticize that she allowed herself to be blindsided and stuff, but man, she never gave up. And I think she saved her own life because she's a warrior, so God bless her.
Yeah, good for her for that.
Yep.
All right, great discussion. Tim, thanks.
Absolutely, as always. Thanks, Brady. You want to redo the other one?
No, I think we're good. I don't think we said Florida in
Okay.
that one. I think we're all right.
Okay.